Well, hello everybody and welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make Florentines, and these are sort of also known in some places as lace cookies. So a very thin sort of biscuit type cookie, and for mine I'm using simply some golden syrup, some cream, some almonds and some sugar. In some recipes they add a little bit of flour in as well. And these are going to be crisp cookies. I've seen some Florentines where they describe them as chewy, and that may be to do with other ingredients that they put in, such as sultanas or currants and things like that. But these are simply going to be a very basic Florentine. They're not difficult to make, and as I said, they've only got 4 ingredients plus some chocolate. So I'll go on to the ingredients. And for this I have 75 grams of flaked almonds, and what I've done is I've put those onto a board and I've simply chopped them up so that they're smaller little pieces. You could use whole almonds and grind those down into small pieces, not too finely, but you could do that if you wanted to. And that's 3/4 cup. I have 62 grams, about 5 tablespoons of caster sugar, 37 grams, about 2 tablespoons of golden syrup, and 40 millilitres, 2 tablespoons plus 2 teaspoons of cream. And I'm also going to use 84 grams, which is about 3 ounces of a dark chocolate. So that's all the ingredients. And the first thing we need to do is to put our sugar, the cream and the golden syrup into a pan, and we're going to heat that until it starts to boil, and then we're going to gently boil it for about a minute. So I'll put that onto the heat, and I'm going to start it on a low heat and stir it round. And I've turned the heat up just a little bit now. But I'm stirring all the time so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. And that's beginning to bubble around the sides now. And it's just beginning to boil, so I'm going to continue cooking that. And if you're interested, I'm going to do it until the temperature is 118 degrees Celsius. So I've boiled that for a minute, and I'm going to turn the heat off, and then I'm going to put my almond pieces in, and I'm going to stir those around and get those mixed into that very hot mixture. And then I'm going to put that into a bowl and allow it to cool completely. I have my oven preheating now to 180 degrees Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and I've got a couple of baking trays with silicone mats, but you could use parchment paper, ready to take our Florentines. So my mixture is just about cool now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 12 grams of it, maybe a little bit less, but about 12 grams, and I'm going to put that onto the baking tray, and these are going to spread a long way, so you need a nice big gap between them. And I'm just going to put 5 on each tray for mine. And I'm using a measure which is 7.5 millilitres, half a tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons, so you can gauge from that how much mixture I'm using. And with 10 done, I have 5 here. I'm actually going to form those into a ball like that, and they're sticky, but you should be able to form them reasonably well. And then I'm going to flatten each one just a little bit. I'm trying to keep them fairly round so that they will be all of a similar shape and size, hopefully. But it doesn't matter if they're not. I've seen some videos where they have lots of misshapes and they taste perfectly good. And with 10 done, I'm going to put those into the oven, and I'm going to bake them for about 12 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on them because if you're not careful they will burn very, very quickly. So about 12 minutes, and then I'll take them out of the oven and I'll come back and show you what we do. We need to leave them for to cool down, but then I'll show you what to do after that. So I baked my Florentines for 12 minutes. And that was the first batch, and then I did a second batch which gave me another 8, and I have 3 to one side. So as soon as they came out of the oven, I took the silicone mat off the baking tray. That just allows the Florentines to cool down a little bit quicker, and you need to let them cool down before you try to take them off the silicone mat. So these have been out of the oven for 4 minutes now, and they're cool, and I've actually already loosened them, but they were quite loose, and I'm just going to pick them up and put them onto a rack. Like that. And then I'm going to melt the chocolate. Now you can do that in a microwave in sort of 10 to 15 second bursts, stirring it each time, or you can do it in a bain-marie, which is a pan of simmering water with a bowl over the top and the chocolate in the bowl, but the bowl must not touch the simmering water, and you just heat that until it's melted. Now you can, if you want to, temper the chocolate. And to do that, you would melt the chocolate until it reaches, and I have to look at my notes, I think until it reaches 45 degrees Celsius, which is 113 Fahrenheit. Then you need to take it off the heat, and you need to allow the chocolate to cool, stirring it, and allow it to cool down to 27 degrees, about 90 to 91 degrees Fahrenheit. And after that you need to bring the temperature up again to 32 degrees, about 96 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will temper the chocolate so that when the chocolate is brushed onto the underside of the Florentines, it will set firm and it will be nice and hard, and it will have a nice crack to it. But you don't have to do that. You can simply melt the chocolate and brush it over. So I'll melt my chocolate and then I'll come back. So I've melted my chocolate, and I'm simply going to take some of it and brush it on the underside of each of the Florentines, and you can put on as little or as much as you want. I'm then going to put that chocolate side down on my silicone mat. It will peel off quite easily. And then I'm going to just leave those for a few minutes so that the chocolate sets up. Now you can speed that process up if you want to by putting them into the fridge for 5 minutes or so. And then once they've set up, I'll take them off the silicone mat and I'll come back and show you what they look like, and we'll have a taste of one. So I let my chocolate set on the Florentines and I put them in the fridge for actually for about 10 minutes. They're just about set now. So this is what they look like now. And I've kept some without any chocolate on at all, just so they're a variation. And the chocolate has set up nicely. So I'll just break this one in half. Well, I've broken it in half, I'll break it again. So you can hear that it snaps. Very, very good. They have that lovely nutty flavour to them, with the sweetness of the sugar and the syrup and the richness of the chocolate as well. These are ideal little treats, really, and they do keep in an airtight container for a couple of days if they last that long. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there'll be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well, and I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.